Hey Ross, sauce it up.
Hello guys, Cass here. Today's what if will be what if Naruto had Spider-Man's powers. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you do not mind. Naruto's birth would go exactly the same as in canon. He would have the 9 tails sealed inside of him and his parents would die. Hiruzen would take care of him until he was 4, where he had the idea of giving a 4-year-old their own apartment. Naruto would always get bullied and attacked by the villagers because he is the 9 tails Jinchuriki. 1 year later Naruto would enter the academy at 5. While playing at recess he would get bitten by a radioactive spider. He would kill the spider and go wash his hands, not knowing that the spider gave him superpowers. A few minutes later the teacher Iruka would resume the tests. They would have to run many laps, spar, shuriken throw, and do strength training. For some mysterious reason Naruto would do incredibly well in everything to the point of surpassing Sasuke. After his day at the academy Naruto would go home and ask himself, why do I feel so powerful? Naruto would decide to test his abilities by working out for 2 hours straight and he wouldn't have a drop of sweat. Naruto wouldn't find this normal, so he would go to the doctor who checked his DNA and said, Naruto, I don't know how and why, but you have spider DNA in your DNA. Naruto's face would get wide as he would say, what does that mean? The doctor would give him the details and he would leave. Realizing that he apparently has spider powers, he would try to use them but it wouldn't work. During one instance he would manage to fire a web. Realizing this, Naruto would do the exact same thing that caused him to fire the web and it would work. Naruto has finally figured out how to create webs. The next day he would return to the academy to study and train. As usual, but this time he would use his powers. He would return home to get some rest and after that would go outside to observe spiders' movements. Seeing that the spider can climb walls, Naruto would do the same and in little to no time he is now able to climb walls with no difficulty. Naruto would walk around the village to go buy comics and he would see a comic named Spider-Man. This would interest Naruto and he would buy the comic and start to read it. He would do everything Spider-Man does and after 10 days of reading he has now learned how to use all of his spider abilities. 3 years later Naruto is 8 and would have a rematch with Sasuke. Sasuke would say that he trained the past 3 years to beat Naruto, but this wouldn't scare Naruto at all and they would start the spar. Immediately Naruto would run at shocking speeds towards Sasuke. Sasuke would block all incoming punches, but in the process his arms would be so badly hurt he can't use them. Naruto would fire a web at Sasuke, restraining all but his mouth. Using his mouth, Sasuke would fire a fireball to melt the web, barely freeing himself. Sasuke would blink and Naruto would have disappeared and reappeared behind him. Naruto would say, "I'm too lazy for this," and would fire a web at Sasuke and start swinging it, flinging him 20 feet into the air out of the arena. Sasuke would fall and hit the ground and would be left barely alive. Sasuke's fangirls would be angrier than ever, but Naruto couldn't care less. Naruto would continue to train for the next 4 years, where he would finally graduate and be ranked Rookie of the Year. He would be waiting in the room waiting for his sensei to arrive, and 3 hours later Kakashi would arrive into the room. They would all go to the rooftop and would introduce themselves.
Sasuke would be into his emo stuff. Sakura would play with her fingers and Naruto would just decide not to talk.
Kakashi would tell him to meet up the next day at the training grounds and to not eat breakfast, which they would do. The next day they would arrive at the training grounds and Kakashi would be there on time. He would explain the rules of the bell test and they would begin. Sasuke and Naruto would agree to do teamwork, leaving Sakura out on the whole plan. Both Naruto and Sasuke would rush for Kakashi and start barraging him, leaving him no time to take out Icha Paradise. Naruto would fire a web restricting Kakashi's movements, and Sasuke, seeing the opportunity, would start punching and kicking Kakashi repeatedly. Kakashi would substitute out of there, but forgetting Sakura exists, he would be hit by a shuriken right in the stomach, which was thrown by Sakura herself.
Kakashi would pull it out and decide to get serious.
He would instantly knock out Sakura. And then go for Sasuke.
Sasuke would be barraged, but Naruto would save him.
Naruto, realizing he can pull things towards him with his webs, would pull the bells at him, getting his team the win. Kakashi would say they pass and that their first mission starts tomorrow.
The next day they would start the useless missions like helping old ladies cross the street. Eventually the team would get bored and ask Hiruzen for a higher ranked mission, which he wouldn't decline. He would give them a C-rank mission to escort a bridge builder to the land of waves. Shortly after, Tazuna would walk in and they would leave for the mission. A few hours down the road they would find a puddle. Naruto would say,
"A puddle at this time of the year." A few seconds later, 2 figures would jump out of the puddle. The Demon Brothers. Naruto and Sasuke would fight them while Kakashi defends the bridge builder. Naruto easily defeats his opponent, but Sasuke is struggling, so Kakashi jumps in and kills both of the brothers. After this they would continue to walk, and eventually the mist would get thicker and thicker. Realizing this, the team would get the guard up and a sword would be thrown at Sasuke's head. Sasuke would dodge it and Naruto would grab the blade. Zabuza would order him to give it back and Naruto would say, "Alright, whatever you say." Naruto would throw the sword at him, twice as powerful. Zabuza would dodge, but it would cut the right side of his torso open. He would begin to bleed heavily. In the blink of an eye he would be hit by multiple senbon and would be carried away by Haku.
Zabuza, after waking up, would say, "Damn brat."
Haku would have forgotten to take the sword, so Naruto would take it and bring it with him to Tazuna's house, where they would rest. They would have a week to train, and during this time they would learn how to water walk and tree walk and more about chakra control. A week later they would return to the bridge to finish it, but Zabuza and Haku would be there ready to fight. Zabuza's wound would have healed and been stitched up. They would begin to fight, and this time Kakashi would activate the Sharingan. Naruto's extreme reflexes would allow him to not get trapped in the mirrors, but Sasuke would be caught in them. Naruto's enhanced strength would be enough to shatter every single mirror in 3 seconds. Haku would be left wide open and would be decapitated. Zabuza, seeing this, would shed a single tear before continuing to fight Kakashi. Zabuza would get jumped by Sakura, Naruto, Sasuke and Kakashi, and he is easily defeated and killed. They would finish the bridge and name it the Great Naruto Bridge, ending this arc.
They would return to the Leaf Village, but Naruto gets to keep the sword. Kakashi would inform them about the Chunin exams coming up that are happening in a month. But it seems you will also have to wait because this will be the end of part 1. Again, please don't forget to like and subscribe.